Hey guys, welcome back. Into this video, we are talking about how a short squeeze is potentially about to happen, the fake AMC ownership, the AMC breakout, and many more in this video. First, we're taking a look at this. The stage is set for DJT to pull off a massive GME and steamroll the manipulative short once again. So this is obviously talking about DJT. Now what you can see are the call options that are coming in. If you take a look at the charts for DJT, you can see how they're being suppressed and manipulated. But what's more important is obviously the massive event that's of course happening right now. At the time of this recording, only a few results for the election is out. By the time you're watching this, maybe it's fully out already. But what that could do is obviously, depending on the outcome, we could be seeing DJT having a massive short squeeze that's about to happen. And you can see there are people who are in fact worried about this. You can see DJT can pull off a 2021 GME, and clearly at Interactive Brokers, they know it since they already stopped their customers from purchasing DJT call options. So if you're a customer of Interactive Brokers, you are not allowed to buy options, call options. And that's obviously to prevent the buy pressure, that's prevent this stock from squeezing. And they understand is that if Trump, again, this isn't any political advice, this is just saying is that if Trump were to win the election, we could be seeing that squeeze, of course, happening. So that's something that's very, very exciting depending on the result. Like I said, at the time of recording, nothing has been decided yet. Maybe by the time you're watching this, things would have been set. Now, furthermore, let's take a look at this. The spoofers love Cinemark. So if you take a look here, Goldman Sachs' strategic acquisition of Cinemark Holding Inc. shares. So firstly, we have to understand is Goldman Sachs is an institution that we've known that's been constantly spoofing AMC. Crystal Ball is someone who has actually tracked this consistently and constantly, and you can see how AMC is a stock that's been spoofed for more than 300 days straight and even longer than that. And what we can see is that they've made a significant addition to its investment portfolio by acquiring 4 million shares of Cinemark Holdings. Now, it's interesting. The very fact that they are buying into the theater industry shows they have high hopes for it. But then why are they spoofing AMC? They need to understand, and we also know, is that spoofing is obviously something that is damaging to a stock's price. We've seen multiple firms come out to talk and argue and attack the spoofers because they've said that they've done impactful harm towards their own company. This is something that's been, fined by regulations as well. So we know that it's something damaging. And already we can understand that they're buying to Cinemark. Why is it? Well, for those of you who know, Cinemark has over 120% institutional ownership. So we already know that Cinemark is very likely the institution pick for the theater industry stocks. We know AMC is obviously the retail. We also know that they want to buy into AMC because by far, what we can see is that AMC is a way better company within this whole industry. It's the biggest and possibly the best, depending. And again, this is what I'm talking about with the earnings that's about to happen. We can truly see how good AMC is. And so you can see why they're doing this. And one of the reasons we talked about why they spoof AMC is because they want to make retail investors to obviously sell their shares so that institutions can buy in again. As always, none of this is ever financial advice. So do take what I say of soul, make sure you do your own due diligence and research. Now, over here, let's take a look at the fake AMC ownership. We've just talked about the ownership for Cinemark, talking about 120%. You can even see here, FYI, someone at SEC needs to go back to second grade and tell me how BlackRock bought a total of 7.2% recently of AMC when no retail has sold at a fake 91.2%, which is obviously higher than stated, and institutions own 20%. So I guess all parties can exceed the mathematical 100% standard. And I want to clarify is that first we have to understand that Robert M is talking about how the retail ownership should be higher than what's stated here of 91.2. You can see he further goes on to say retail ownership is 91.2%, but in reality it's 93.4. And in my opinion, I think it's even higher than this as well. And the reason why I say this is if you take a look at a few things that I'm about to show. Now over here you can see for Yahoo Finance, and this is for AMC, and you can see 40.01% of shares held by institutions. So that's what it says on Yahoo Finance. Take a look over here at Finviz, institutional ownership 38.84%. So again, it's different from what we've seen here of 40.01. It's different from what we've seen here with 8.4% of institutional investor. But again, maybe you could argue is that there is, of course, a slight margin of error. So a 2% is something that should not be accountable. But then if you take a look, so for those of you who want to go do this search for yourself as well, and I'm curious to hear what it is, if you search AMC ownership, the first result, now it is coming from tips ranks, but this is the first result that you'll get, at least for me, is that approximately 24.53% of the company stock is owned by institutional investors. So 4 different websites, and you can see we have 4 different ownerships. And this is extremely odd because firstly, like I said, you can argue that the margin for error here of 2% is nothing major. So, we ignore that, again, room for error. But the very fact we're getting 24.53 here, we're getting 8.4% here, there's such a big margin of error to the point where what is truly the ownership? You won't find this for pretty much any other stocks apart from AMC and of course GME. And so the question we beg to ask is truly what is the ownership? And this is why we said, and this is why I said, whilst we are seeing 91.2, I do believe it's even higher than the 93.4. I truly think the retail ownership is over 95%. But again, like I said, we don't have any data that actually supports that, actually proves that. But then again, we don't have any data that proves any of the institutional ownership, the retail ownership that we've seen so far. Now let's take a look at this. So AMC's third quarter results on deck amid signs of a cinema industry rebound. So what we have is, of course, the earnings coming out. Now, like I said, because of everything we've seen with IMAX, with Cinemark, and just with the overall box office, it's very likely to see AMC give a very good earnings. We even had the fact that AMC has said that they are able to make more money with an even lower box office. And not to mention that the box office is, of course, doing extremely well. We had the best ever June EBITDA in the history of AMC. So there are so many signs, whether it's competitors, whether it's AMC itself, to show how it's actually doing well. And like I said, when we do see the earnings, we shouldn't be reflecting on the price. We shouldn't be worrying too much on the price. The reason why I say this is, like I said, like everyone knows, they will manipulate AMC regardless of whatever happens. AMC could be making $10 billion and they will still find a way to say that AMC is doing bad. They will still find a way to manipulate the price of AMC because they want to give the impression that AMC is a bad company, when we know that's obviously not the case. Like I said, at the end of the day, the price isn't what's important for AMC. The fundamentals is. When we see that AMC is able to operate, when AMC is able to make money and a ton of money and is able to self-sustain, that's the only thing that matters. We want AMC to make sure that they don't go bankrupt because that's the end game for both us and the institutions, because that's the only way for institutions to get out. And so that's what we have to focus on. And so it's very likely, despite what we see for the earnings, for AMC to, of course, be suppressed. Now, if you made it up until this far and you're watching this video at a later date, comment down below who you guys are thinking for the presidential election, and comment down below if you guys have seen who's already obviously chosen. Now, let's take a look at this. AMC looking primed to break out. Ended the bull flag this week, Morningstar candle, and what we can see is, like I said, the fundamentals is proving AMC is ready for a breakout. The technicals is showing that AMC is ready for a breakout. And so even what we talked about at the start, if DJT were to have a squeeze, we can also see how that will affect the short sellers and for AMC and GME to also experience this as well. Furthermore, we have to understand is that, like I said, at the end of the day, don't be too focused on the current price of AMC. Again, not financial advice, this is my own opinion. The reason why I say this is because we already know that AMC is extremely undervalued. We know that AMC should be way higher. You can even see here, AMC intrinsic value should be 1609. Now, I do believe that it should be even higher than that. I do believe that we should be at least at the very minimum to be past $100 because of everything, because of the future. And again, we are investing into a company for what they are doing now and for what they can be in the future. And so that's why I believe that AMC's value is even higher than this. But already we can understand is that it's undervalued. And that's why I said, when you focus on the price too much and you understand that it's being manipulated, we know that that is not the true reflection. Another thing to look at is the overall for all options chains of AMC. What we're seeing right now is an increase in volume and is indicating a bullish sentiment. Like I said, we are getting the fundamental breakout, we are getting the technical breakout, and now we're seeing the options to also be indicating a breakout as well. So there's a lot of things to be focusing on here. Another thing is GME, an order for $5,025 calls expiring next week, came in at 2:53 p.m. today. So on top of what we've seen with the AMC options, we're seeing the same with GME options as well. Obviously showcasing that a lot of people are expecting the volatility to come right now. And again, I am not surprised with everything that is kind of being aligned right now. And you guys, thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you guys next time.